Marijuana in Missouri, why one Columbia lawmaker says it's time to legalize.
An unbelievable sense of fear caught on video when two planes collide.
And a fluoride fight, why some people think there's too much in the water. KOMU8 News at 10 starts now.
From Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU8 News at 10.
A Missouri lawmaker and a lawyer are teaming up to make the case for legalizing marijuana in the state. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Reek.
And I'm Brittany Pieper. Columbia is at the center of a debate that has a higher public support than ever before. KOMU8's Alex Mallon is in the studio. He took a closer look at what's driving the high hopes for legalization advocates.
A Harvard economist estimates Missouri would net almost $150 million per year just by legalizing marijuana. But with legalization comes complication, and this heated national debate could soon find itself in the hands of your state lawmakers.
This is the sloppiest thing I've ever seen.
I don't care what they say about the economy.
State Representative Chris Kelly is ready to retire.
And so I have to make choices about, do I want to spend more time with my grandchildren or spend more time on crazy gun bills and Sharia law?
Kelly was a driving force behind the creation of the Katy Trail and increased funding to higher education. But as a part of his grand exit, he and Columbia lawyer Dan Viets are teaming up to take on pot.
What we plan to take to the voters and to the legislature is a proposal to fully legalize, to tax and regulate marijuana like alcohol.
Viets spearheaded the campaign to decriminalize medical marijuana in Columbia and lower the penalties for possession in 2004. Outside of the city limits, Missouri has some of the harshest drug laws in the nation. For Kelly, a former judge, the Columbia system shows how those laws don't work.
And I think in this country in the last 40 years, we've spent many billions of dollars trying to enforce marijuana laws and ruined thousands of lives. And we haven't stopped one person from smoking one joint.
Viets and other legalization advocates are drafting legislation for Kelly to introduce to Missouri's legislature. Other bills dabbling in marijuana have failed to make it anywhere. But Viets says a recent poll suggesting 58% of Americans are in favor of legalization means times are changing.
It's a change that is so rapid and accelerating that it makes legalization virtually inevitable.
But inevitable doesn't come without complications.
Whether it's marijuana, tobacco, alcohol, other things, there's pretty universal agreement that those things are not good for our young people.
Worley says Columbia's vote to decriminalize did nothing toward curbing youth smoking marijuana. And as for legalization?
Without a doubt, one of the easiest trends to understand and predict in youth substance abuse behavior is that availability will drive abuse.
But when it comes to abuse, many say the law is targeting the wrong drug.
The, influence on a college, community to excessively drink is terrible, and it's a health concern. And it's not only a health concern, it's a public safety concern because most violent crimes are alcohol related.
Kelly says his goal is to bring the debate over marijuana legalization to the state capitol. But whether it will be more than a debate?
At this stage, I think it's mostly an educational effort. I don't harbor any illusions that we'd be able to get this done in 1 year.
Kelly says the two Republican supermajorities in the State House are an obstacle, but Viets says they might just be the driving force to push the bill through.
Tea partiers, and I call them the teapot partiers, are actually most on our side. The libertarian Republicans, the ones who have a consistent and truly conservative political philosophy, understand this issue and understand that we're correct.
Whether Missouri's legalization debate gains any traction or goes up in flames is yet to be seen. But the conversation has started, and it's not as simple as black and white, or even green.
If we walked out of the hospital with a newborn baby in our arms and someone said, well, what do you want for your kid? Those newborn parents with smiles on their faces would say, I want my kids just to grow up, safe and healthy, have a good education, and to make a difference.
Viets says his bill would not only legalize marijuana, but expunge the criminal records and release from prison anyone convicted on marijuana possession charges. Tonight, he actually spoke at the Columbia City Council meeting about amending Columbia's current ordinance. He asked the council to consider a proposal that would allow medical marijuana patients to be able to cultivate pot for personal use. To join in on the conversation, visit our website at komu.com.
Well, tonight the Columbia City Council voted on what could make for a healthy smile.
Columbia will keep fluoride in its water supply. KOMU8's Rachel Whittle is live at the council meeting with more on that discussion.
I'm at City Hall where council members just passed the continuation of fluoridation of the city's water supply. So dentists left the building very happy tonight, and the meeting did end just about 15 minutes ago. The fluoride issue is at the top of the old business section on the agenda, and the debate lasted more than an hour. Both sides had very strong opinions regarding the use of fluoride.
I personally have mild dental fluorosis, which is white spots on the teeth, which means you've been exposed to too much as a child.
Fluoride helps everybody, especially those that don't have access to dental care. It helps reduce the amount of decay in their teeth through strengthening the enamel.
Other topics discussed tonight included a possible second flight to Chicago from Columbia Regional Airport, and we'll tell you more as we learn what happens. Reporting live in Columbia, Rachel Whittle, KUMU8 News.
We'll get back to some of the things at the city council meeting in just a moment, but first, we're following a developing story out of New Jersey tonight. Police are searching for a gunman at a mall in Bergen County, about 22 miles southwest of Manhattan. A local TV station reports a gunman opened fire at Westfield Garden State Plaza Mall around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Officials have not reported any injuries, and the mall is currently on lockdown.
Back in Columbia, the debate over Clark Lane sidewalks headed to the city council again. KOMU8's Danielle Carter talked to both sides and has more on why improvements might not happen.
I'm walking along Clark Lane, just like a lot of its residents have to. As you can see, I'm pretty close to the road, so it's easy to see why a lot of the people that live along here really want sidewalks. However, the city says they'll have to wait.
Frankly, I'm quite perplexed.
Columbia City Councilman Carl Scala of the 3rd Ward doesn't get it.
I'm quite perplexed as to why there is this opposition, the kind of opposition that suggests if we can't have it all, we want nothing. Nothing is not safe. We need public safety here, and this is a step in the right direction.
That step means narrowing Clark Lane by a foot and adding 6-foot asphalt aprons to each side. But to these residents, the project means nothing without sidewalks. And while Scala says sidewalks are coming once the city gets a federal grant, some are demanding sidewalks before any other improvements.
I just question the idea that we can't, through engineering and other development, be able to put in compliant, regular sidewalks that can later be incorporated into a street widening design.
Scala says it makes sense for the city to make other improvements first, so it doesn't have to rip the sidewalks out later. He thinks residents who think differently might be misinformed.
The city council probably has been a little bit remiss in not providing clarification for this to make sure that folks understand that without this improvement to provide additional public safety, there will be no public safety for 2 or 3 years.
Councilman Scala says anyone concerned about the developments along Clark Lane should come to an informational session this Wednesday starting at 5:30 p.m. at Blue Ridge Elementary School. Reporting live in Columbia, Danielle Carter, KOMU8 News.
The Columbia construction industry is starting to hammer out supply again after struggling during the financial crisis. KOMU8 News reviewed construction permit activity, and the city's community development department is on pace to issue as many construction permits this year as they did in 2007 before the recession. One Columbia home builder is working on a few homes in one subdivision and says a supply of new homes is coming onto the market at the right time.
Developers haven't been able to develop a lot of inventory, selling off the old inventory, and the new inventory is just starting to get built. So actually there's kind of a shortage. We're hearing that from all over.
The city says the mega student housing projects are responsible for a lot of that construction activity, but the city is seeing growth throughout the industry, both in new residential and commercial construction and in renovations or additions to existing properties.
Today, the Sheraton County prosecuting attorney filed charges against a man for allegedly killing his father. The county sheriff says David Weil stabbed John Piper at Piper's home in Brunswick after an argument. Piper's other son, who was inside the house at the time, called 911. Within 34 minutes of the call, EMS arrived. Piper was airlifted to MU Hospital, where he later died. Piper allowed Weil to live with him to get back on his feet, but other family members feared his anger problems.
He wanted to do the best for the kid, and that's all there is to it. He wanted to try to help the kid have a life and you know, be a productive person.
The family told KOMU8 News they hope Piper is remembered as a good father and family man. The first court date for Weil is November 12th.
A dreary day here in mid-Missouri, so let's check in with Dave for a look at our forecast.
Clouds have overspread Missouri for the biggest part of the hours since the noon hour. Plenty of clouds, but no rain just yet. Take a look at live Doppler 8 first alert radar. Nothing doing right now. Rain, however, is on the way. It's down to our south and will be heading this way during the overnight hours. Presently, temperatures really haven't moved very much at all. Still 55 at the lake, 58 at Jefferson City, 54 in Moberly, and 51 in Herman. As you check your KOMU weather app on your smartphone, take a look at the hour-by-hour forecast. We'll be dropping down to around that 50-degree mark by the time you're out the door and headed for work tomorrow morning. We'll have a look at the timing of the rain showers coming up in just a few minutes here on KOMU 8 News at 10.
Big problems for a big tree. What's putting this famous tree in harm's way?
And 2 planes crash, catch fire, and somehow everyone survives. And it was all caught on tape. We'll show you more coming up next. Exclusive NBC video of 2 planes carrying skydivers colliding in midair, and it was all caught on tape.
NBC's Ann Thompson has more on how everyone survived.
The last jump of the day for 9 skydivers and 2 pilots nearly became the last flight of their lives. 2 planes and people out of control over Superior, Wisconsin Saturday evening. 1 plane breaking up in fiery debris. What looks to be certain disaster, miraculously, was not. Watch it again from a different angle and you can see what happens. In this video licensed by NBC News, you see the divers in the second plane get out on the step preparing to jump. That plane appears to fly right on top of the first plane. There's a fireball. And now divers from both planes, instead of flying in a planned formation, find themselves in a terrifying plummet. Not only are they falling from 12,000 feet at 125 miles per hour, so are the burning parts of the first plane. All the divers open their chutes and land safely. The pilot of the first plane gets out alive too, using his emergency parachute. And then there's this.
Come on, Blake, you got it. Come on.
Blake Whedon lands the second plane at the airport, even though there's damage to the propeller and the wing. The jumpers and the pilots, all veterans of the sky, know how close they came.
Very lucky, very, very lucky. Anytime 2 planes collide in the air, I mean, it's a potential disaster for everybody involved. So we were all very, very lucky here.
After pursuing thrills in the air, tonight for these 11 lucky people, the greatest thrill is just being alive. Ann Thompson, NBC News, New York.
Tune into the Today Show on KOMU 8 News tomorrow morning to see interviews from the crash's survivors.
Just months after the Missouri State Fair rodeo clown poked fun of the president, another political statement, this time at Saturday's Mizzou game. Coming up, how the booze caused a buzz.
The First Alert Weather Cam is brought to you by your Heart of Missouri Chevy dealers. Now, your live Doppler 8 First Alert weather with Chief Weathercaster Dave Schmidt.
Well, good evening to you. Cloud cover has been with us throughout at least the latter half of the day. And early this morning, as you can see, the rain moving through, we picked up about 0.05 of an inch of rain on the University of Missouri campus. Since then, we've had a little sunshine, and now we have mostly clouds. Let's check it out here. Your present conditions, mostly cloudy. We're at 56 degrees. We have an 11-mile-per-hour southerly breeze, and that's going to be increasing certainly through the day tomorrow. Relative humidity right now is fairly high at 69% of saturation. A little bit of moisture in the air with that moisture in the ground. Temperatures around the region, we have it at 58 in Boonville. Sedalia also at 58 degrees. Let's have a look at Jefferson City, 58, Moberly 54, 51 in Herman, and down in Rolla, it's 53 at this particular time. That frontal boundary is just about to pass through. It'll probably do so early tomorrow morning, and then that's going to bring us that chance for some shower activity, and then generally speaking, temperatures are going to be fairly mild again tomorrow. Now, we focus on the secondary cold front that will likely move through on Wednesday, probably overnight Tuesday morning into, I should say, Wednesday morning into Wednesday, and then we're going to see some chillier temperatures behind that front. It's going to mostly affect our morning time lows Wednesday or Thursday morning. The afternoon high temperatures will be about where they should be this time of the year, and that would be between 58 and 60 degrees. Okay, here's the timing of the rainfall. Not much going on now except for clouds. Now, by the time you're out the door and driving to work tomorrow morning, we will probably have some light to moderate rain. Most of the activity, Jefferson City and south into the Lake of the Ozarks. Then as we move into the daytime hours, here's your lunch scenario. Again, light to moderate showers. It won't be completely widespread, but quite a bit of activity there. And then we'll finally see that taper off briefly. We'll have it again tomorrow afternoon and evening, and then finally tapering off for good, I think, by mid-morning on Wednesday, the way things are looking right now. Of course, these models change and change often, so we'll keep you apprised of any changes. Mostly cloudy. Late rain is likely, that is to say overnight showers, 50 degrees for the morning time, low temperature. Now, check tomorrow's winds. They'll be a little gusty, 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting up to 35, maybe even 40 miles per hour. Mostly cloudy otherwise, periods of rain, 61 for the high temperature. That's about normal. And then for the next couple of days, Wednesday, probably through the middle of the day, rain will continue off and on with a high temperature at 52. The sun is back out Thursday with a high at 51. Otherwise, as we move into the 8-day forecast, we'll have bright, sunshiny skies and temperatures just about where they should be for this time of the year. Pretty close to that 58, 60 degree mark. That's the weather.
With rain and wind tomorrow, the leaves are coming down.
They will be down quickly, I would imagine.
Right. Thanks,
okay.
Dave.
We'll be right back, but first, here are your lottery numbers. A beloved Boone County landmark in potential danger, why the tree's location is to blame.
A busy street in Columbia will see a partial shutdown. We'll tell you why. Plus, someone I deeply respect, Cardinals manager Mike Matheny, will be in mid-Missouri delivering a heartfelt address.
And as we work our way on into Tuesday afternoon, rain is on the way. That'll stick around through Wednesday. We'll talk more about that and also a look at your weekend weather tomorrow morning.
And every day a look at new and now, the news that's happening as you wake up. Join us for KOMU8 News today every weekday morning starting at 4:30.
The Mizzou-Tennessee football game Saturday sparked political controversy across the state. National Guard members took an oath on the field. As they mentioned the president in their oath, many in the crowd started to boo. Democratic State Representative Clem Smith released a statement today saying he attended the game and was embarrassed and angry. The statement reads, "At no point did university officials reprimand the crowd members for this inappropriate and unpatriotic act. Those crowd members disrespected the proud men and women of our nation's great military, the President of the United States, and the upstanding citizens of Missouri."
Columbia's beloved big tree may be facing some big problems. The big bur oak tree in McBain could suffer serious damage resulting from an asphalt road close to its base. The road interferes with the tree's roots. Oils and salts used to treat the asphalt are running into the tree's water supply as well. Work is already underway to help the tree stay as healthy as possible.
We were able to get Mr. Williams to allow us to increase the mulched area by quite a bit, so that, that's definitely going to be a huge stress reliever on the tree as well. That will allow, the farmer to stay further away from it, and, it's going to give the tree a lot more area, a lot more surface area for the roots.
Hobner also says the tree has recently received several health and fertilization treatments.
Coming up, no funeral here, just a connection between Mizzou and the TV show Duck Dynasty.
Now, from the Ford Sports Desk, KOMU8 Sports with Chris Gervino.
Hi, everyone. Missouri midfielder Casey Clark earned first-team All-SEC soccer honors in voting by conference coaches. Clark, a junior from Liberty, leads the Tigers with 6 goals and 3 assists. Tonight, though, neither Clark nor any of her Tiger teammates could score as Arkansas shut out Mizzou 4-0 in the SEC tournament. The Mizzou soccer season is over. The Tigers finish 8 wins, 9 losses, and 3 ties. This week marks the 2-year anniversary of Missouri announcing it would join the Southeastern Conference. 2 years ago, MU Chancellor Brady Deaton and Athletic Director Mike Alden stood before Mizzou fans who were chanting M-I-Z-S-E-C. That first year was tough for the Tigers in their new conference, just 2 league wins. But this year it's been a turnaround. Mizzou already with 4 conference victories. Coaches say they really have not done too much difference.
I think there's a lot of luck involved. I wish I knew the answer, but you know, we're a healthy football team. We're a lot different, and but we did, you know, we do what we do, and we train. We didn't train any different.
I'm just glad that we were able just to show everybody that they were wrong. A lot of people didn't understand, you know, the team we were last year and the difficulties we were facing, not only with just, you know, going to the SEC, but within our program. And just to overcome all of that with, you know, with my brothers and just show everybody that we are one of the best teams in the nation and that we can compete in this conference that everybody said we couldn't. That's the best thing for me, honestly.
Just the work that everybody's put in this year, it's really showing. And then you look at the big picture, it's kind of scary to see that we haven't played our best game yet.
And that is scary for opponents if that's the case, because the Tigers already have 8 wins. Number 8 came with a 31-3 throttling of Tennessee. Matty Mock and Justin Britt received recognition for their work Saturday in that win. Mock named the SEC Freshman of the Week for the 2nd time this year. He rushed for more than 100 yards, threw for more than 100 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the first half. Britt aided the Tiger ground attack from his left tackle spot as Mizzou ran for 339 yards against the Vols. Mock became the first Tiger QB to rush and pass for more than 100 yards in the same game since James Franklin, who did it back in 2011. A group of Mizzou alums from Kansas City have a special tailgating tradition. KOMU8's William Joy tells us about how that tradition led to some interesting publicity.
Brian Partlow has been tailgating out of a limousine at Missouri football games for 11 years.
Everybody has just a car, or there's Suburbans everywhere. No one has a limousine.
But it's not just for attention.
It makes sense. It's practical. We can get 6 people in it, haul 2 tents, 4 tables, 5 chairs, 2 big coolers, and everything we need for a weekend.
But when Partlow bought a new limo and put his old one up for sale on Craigslist, he got an interesting call.
Got a phone call from a guy in Wichita that's a friend of Clint Boyer, and he bought it. Clint took it. They wrapped it in Iowa, and then he was going to use it to film a hunting show.
And a year later, an email out of the blue.
I thought it was spam. Then the subject line just said, "Your limo." And it was from the company that wrapped it in Mount Ayr, Iowa. I think that's the right town. And they just sent me a picture of the limo wrapped, and it just said Duck Dynasty, and said it was going to be on, and whatever day it was going to be on.
There it was, a limo Partlow used to tailgate out of, wrapped in camo and being drag raced by Clint Boyer on an episode of Duck Dynasty.
This is like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
He wasn't really a fan of the show before the sale, but said he definitely enjoyed the episode. William Joy, KOMU8 Sports, Columbia.
William, thank you very much. Partlow says to get the same spot every game, the group arrives well before the gates next to the stadium lot open. That's sports.
Now here's a look at what we're following for KOMU8 News today. A busy street in downtown Columbia will see some more road work. We'll let you know what to look out for on your morning commute.
Plus, Cardinal manager Mike Matheny will be making an appearance in mid-Missouri, and it really has nothing to do with baseball. Dave?
And you'll probably be greeted tomorrow morning when you're on your way to work by some rain showers. Certainly some cloudy skies. Scattered showers. We'll have a morning time low at 50. There you see the high temperatures for each of the next couple of days. Will dry out on Thursday, and it should be pretty nice for this coming weekend's activities.
Who would have thunk it? A limousine that used to park there at Faroe Field is now on Duck Dynasty. I mean, that's pretty famous stuff there, you know.
Big time.
That's big time. That's big time. We better go.
That's our time for now. Have a great night.